I see you looking out your window. I see you looking out your window. What do you see? I wondering what you're thinking. I wondering what you're thinking. What can it be? Welcome back, everybody. You've got the professor. My name is Darren, along with my lovely wife, Kim.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the last year and some of the adventures we had. So it kind of all started out in the Elkhorn area. And kind of Anthony and I did a couple runs up and down Bray Road looking for the Beast of Bray Road. So lots of stories there going back about 65 years. Linda Godfrey and some of her books in the area. And that kind of tangented into Sophia. So Sophia Bierman up in Heartland, actually friends with Linda before she passed away. And some of the adventures she had, she's actually seen the beast twice. So she describes it as being about 7-8 feet tall. The first one was kind of a darkish black with some silver in it. And then the other one appeared older, a little more hunched over, like I guess like an older person would be, and a little shorter. So about the same time each year she sees them in October. So it's kind of interesting. But that's not where it started. First, we went up to a wooded area just north of Heartland. So what do you remember about that, Kim?
I remember pulling up there and there were some items on the ground because evidently people parked there and...
Items on the ground? What kind of items were on the ground?
Used items.
Used items? You don't mean the Sasquatch condom, do you?
That's the one.
Yeah,
The
it was rather
Sasquatch condom.
large. But at least they're being safe. I mean, that's good.
That's important business, I tell you.
And I remember not too far from the used item was a huge fish skeleton.
A massive fish skeleton. I believe it was a carp.
Yeah, probably a carp. And there was a river, but that river's about a quarter mile away across the street and must be just to the west, I think.
Now,
it
there's
was.
a pond right behind it. I mean, this was in front of where a pond was, but it couldn't have been in the pond because the pond was if you walked into it, it would be like walking in a bog.
Oh, maybe
there's
something
no
you see
way.
like koi in or something, but nothing big like that. So that
No,
definitely,
you would see snakes in this water. That's about all you would see.
I don't want to see snakes in the water, but that's
I
okay.
don't care to see the snakes at all.
Now, I do know you found a bunch of stuff. At that time, we were testing out the GoPro Hero 11, I think, and a couple steady cams, and you had seen some other bones in there, some skulls.
I saw several bones and skulls. There were, one I think was a possum skeleton. Another, I think, was a raccoon. I think I saw a fox skeleton. There's something much larger eating the smaller furry critters. There was also dens, and I walked up and around in the nasty, thick, scratchy, almost like going through multifloral rows. If you guys know what that is, that's bad stuff.
Yeah, really, really pricky. It'd do a number on your skin,
But
especially if you're exposed.
I was able to follow what would be like a deer trail through that stuff and then taller stuff. But as I'm doing this, I'm noticing tall trees that are all just, not all of them, snapped right off. And I'm also seeing them like grabbed. It was almost like, if you can use your imagination, folks, it was like Bigfoot snapped it off and stuck it upside down, saying, "This is my place, go away."
Yeah, some of those were snapped off at like 7 feet, 8 feet, and it wasn't all of it. It wasn't in a row. It was just like sporadic. And we asked Sophia if there had been any storms in the area there. There hadn't been a storm in that area for over 3 months.
Now, I did look in areas for tracks, but I didn't see anything larger than, I would say, maybe a coyote. I didn't see anything bigger other than people feet.
Yeah, so, once again, rumors of something being seen in the area, a rumor about something walking down the street, something with pants and no shirt and extremely hairy, growling and walking down the main street in Heartland. So, lots of suspicious activity, nothing confirmed, but it was interesting. Now, I know when we did finally it took you a little longer to get out of that thick stuff. We came upon Sophia. She had no intention of walking in there.
No.
But she was playing on her spirit box.
She was.
And I know she had gotten some contact with like 2 or 3 people and, some interesting activity on that. I was playing with the fleur and some stuff with temperature changes. So that was fun. But the cardinal error when she left there, what did she do or not do?
We did not say, you must stay here. You cannot under any circumstance come home with us. You must stay here. Generally, when we do things, we always make sure this is done, and it didn't. So Sophia ended up having all sorts of not quite so fun at her house. To put it mildly, she has had the boogities going on.
I'm just shooting away, grabbing one camera out of one pocket, grabbing the, full spectrum out of another pocket, trying to keep the shot steady with the other hand. And, I never even thought about, the technique or what we had done or didn't do, shutting her down there. But the phone call was interesting. She said there was stuff climbing her walls on the couch, in the kitchen, in the living room, in the basement. So it's like, wow, that sounds like another interesting episode. So,
and the great big thing, the great big guy.
Where was that one?
Walking around in the kitchen and the living room. She says it's like 8 feet tall.
We'll leave that
with a really big head.
We'll take care of the little ones. We'll leave the big one for Jeff. Jeff, you won't mind, will you?
It'll be fine.
So we went up there and, got some more footage and, did the chants, the sage, got 3 different kinds of sage and the bells. And I think it cleared up after that. But then she seemed like a lot of it was being attached to items she was, purchasing from China on the
Temu
or something on the internet. And I'm not sure if something's being attached or coming back through the door or waits for the UPS or FedEx or Amazon or whoever's bringing that stuff. But it's like the revolving door there. So we'll probably have to go back and see what's going on again.
I think spirits are actually being attached to things and being sent through the U.S. mail. Well, and of course UPS, as I call them, ups.
Well, and stamps did go up to 73 cents, so maybe
it's so that they could sage the place. You never know.
A little more bang for your buck.
There you
go. So then from there, I know we did a couple other things. Then we ended up in Sheboygan Falls, over at the Fat Cow.
Fascinating place.
That was kind of our yin and yang investigation. The yang, the bad guy in the basement, and the yin, the nice, friendly, maybe kind
fun-loving drunk.
Yeah, fun-loving drunk. Humorous guy up on the first level. And that was some interesting stuff we talked about on a prior podcast. And then from there, I know we did the Glenbeulah Haunted School.
And the asylum.
Oh, the asylum was cool. The asylum was weird. I mean, I had my GoPro Karma. And by the way, we will be repairing GoPro Karmas. We have it's an SD card rewriter, and we can fix the broken Karmas after GoPro's lovely little update that grounded them all. So I'm not sure if they didn't want to have any more liability for their Jones still being in the air. So
that was a dirty trick.
Yeah, so Joshua did come up with the stuff and rewriting on some software. So I'll be trying that here in the next week when that shows up and fix a couple of my drones. And then offer out to anybody else that needs their drones fixed also. But it was interesting because we got the drone up in the air. I think it hooked up to 13 satellites. Perfect link. Went over the fence, went toward the asylum, did my pan and my zoom, my tilt, all the fun little shots. Got over the top of the
water tower.
The water tower. That was a good shot.
Yeah.
And from there veered over to the top of the asylum. All of a sudden, my battery went from 95 to 10%.
That was the spirits. It is really haunted there.
Now I'm thinking, okay, I really don't want to have my drone land on the roof. So I did my nice little casual 180 swing back and then hauled butt to get it back. So I'm watching it go from, one percentage, another percentage, another percentage. Now I got to clear this fence and then the brush so I can actually get to the drone. And it clears, and so I'm going into the landing procedure. And it's not responding. It's going up. I'm like, oh lordy, there's no battery left, but it's going to go up, up, up.
I'm hollering, it's going up. You need to get it down. Oh, I know that, sweetie.
Yeah, I think it got up to like 375 feet. I'm like, oh my God, battery says 1%. And so I'm trying to bring it down. All of a sudden, it goes into its landing mode. And thank God the landing mode was a gentle descent. So it got down to the bottom and bing. So what did I do? Popped in a new battery, drove to the other side of the asylum, and got the next shot. So something with that side of the building. Of course, the second shot, I didn't go near the asylum. I just kind of went toward it and went up and down, got my lefts and right, and then brought her back. But I think that first one where I was over the top of the asylum, I think that's when all the weird stuff started to happen.
Well, our equipment was dying constantly. I kept going, my battery's dead, my battery's dead. See, I actually don't know how to change batteries. And Darren is like he can fix anything. I call him the tinkerer, the mighty tinkerer. The dude can fix anything. Anything I break, he can fix it. Anyway, so I just give him stuff so then I can keep going on my own way because I'm a wanderer.
Yeah.
And he has a hard time keeping up with me, so he just gives me my stuff and away I go.
So I need like 2 extra hands, one to keep shooting and then one to grab whatever you're working with, swap the battery out, put it back together, hand it over to you, and maintain the shot with the other hand.
Yep.
That'd be good.
And a fine time. Good job you do, babe.
Yeah. I'll put that on my resume.
There you go. Can keep up with Kim. I don't think so.
Good stuff. But I do know you had went off to the bunkhouse on the side and, did some investigating with the huge crew. There must have been 30 or 40 people.
What a fun group. They have had so many fun groups going through there. They're people that give you the walkthrough. They have different devices and they have people trying the devices, and sometimes it's a good hit and sometimes it's not quite so good. But then you get to another spot and then all of a sudden, whambo bambo, you got something going on. It's like, sweet.
And I knew I didn't tag along because there was just no room to shoot for that size of a crowd. So I know Craig said, well, just kind of go wander around, get some shots. That was fun. It was dark. There was not one person in the building. So Craig was off at the entrance with, I think it was just him because the other people were guiding the tours. So I went wing after wing after wing, floor after floor. I did that entire facility by myself. So that was pretty creepy. I mean, there's no lights. The only light, I think, is the motion detector in the first hallway before you get off to that first primary wing on the right.
And the emergency exit light.
Yeah, that one comes on, and I was buried further in there. And it was interesting. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Don't get shot. Yeah. So I kind of wrapped that up. I know we had some fun over at the Glenbeulah school. Had to fix the library. They had some water damage going on there, so moved some of the books up off of the floor, up in the shelves, so they wouldn't get more ruined with the water. And then you had an experience with the flat basketball.
Yes, I'm downstairs with my daughter. We're heading to the gymnasium. We open up the door, and this great big shadow figure is up in our face. My daughter and I, of course, squeal like little girls, and we went running. But just before this happened, mind you, it got ice cold. We had the goosebumps, and all of a sudden, you heard a basketball. Boink, 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 boink. Dude, the basketballs are all flat. But no, this ball is freaking bouncing. Scared the bejesus out of us.
That basketball looked like a Pac-Man. So, of course, what do I ask Anthony? Anthony, did you get the shot?
No.
And of course, I'm running around with the other people doing the promo. So, once again, shooting stuff in the other side of the building. And so, missed that one. And then I know that we did come back after our Florida trip to help out with some of the audio and sound baffles. Is that right? That's right. thing sounded like a bathroom, all tiled and everything else. The thing just seriously echoed. So I brought in a second subsystem for the
Craig.
PA to tie into Craig's and kind of combat the front. So you had one P in the front, one P in the rear, kind of brought everything back to the middle. And I think we built like 16 of those little sound baffles that I've designed before. We did those in a recording studio up in Anago a bunch of years back. So we built about 16 of those, bolted those to the wall, and that helped a little bit. And then putting a bunch of people in the gym helped too. So the sound ended up being pretty good from there. Now, the seminar itself was pretty good. Met some interesting people.
Fascinating people.
Dave.
Dave Schrader, is that his name?
Well, we prefer to
Schroeder,
call him
Schrader?
Darkness Dave.
Darkness Dave.
Because he's a Pokemon player, so we were all swapping our Pokemon IDs, becoming friends and trading gifts and stuff like that. So now we can do remote raids with Darkness Dave. So Dave Schrader made a great MC. Continue.
He's a fascinating. If anybody wants to hire this man, I highly recommend him. Wow, is he good. Johnny on the spot. And if there's a lull anywhere, there's not going to be for long because he just goes right up and just starts yakety yak and keeping everybody entertained.
Gotta fill the space and keep her going.
He was doing well.
And I know he brought Shane Pitman along with him, and was it Randy Belanger?
And that gal,
Jeff Belanger?
that was a Pokemaner too.
Oh yeah, I forgot the two gals. So yeah, there were 4 or 3. I think we swapped names and numbers with 3 of those.
Three people we were swapping with.
Yep. I know Jason Hawes was there. He was good with Sherry DiBenedetti. That was fun to say in the promo that I shot, DiBenedetti. So I just kind of made it sound like it was. And then the one guy that built some of the equipment, that was kind of cool. I know he fixed Melissa's, was it a music box, kind of a dollhouse music box, into fixing that. So we talked about some of the equipment. That was fun. So yeah, some interesting people, some, I guess, met some friends, swapped some numbers and that stuff. So that was kind of cool. And then from there, I think a couple of months later, I think we headed up to the Delft Theater in Escanaba, Michigan. Yeah.
By the way, marijuana is legal there. Not that I would do that, but I'm telling you, everybody else does.
Yeah, just
And
gotta get
normally I can
past
say,
Wisconsin.
I smell reefer. I smell reefer. There, I never said it because it was everywhere.
Yeah, it was interesting. So I do know my...
And the dog's name is Doobie.
that was appropriate, actually. Doobie the dog.
Scary looking dog, but once he knows you, oh, he's so sweet.
I can remember Doobie, but I just kept forgetting the name Escanaba. It's kind of like Hortonville when we did that
We were greeted
investigation.
on the theater itself that said, "Welcome, ghost hunters."
Yeah.
Something on that line.
I think Dangerous Productions, I think they had up on there. So that was pretty cool. So James did a nice job. And, he worked throughout the day. And then, we'd have everything set up for the night shoots and the Al Capone tunnel. So that was kind of interesting.
Which scared the crap out of me when the guy started running after me in those old-time shoes. Just a book, and so I jump out of the way. But guess what? Nobody was there to see, but there was a big dude running in them shoes. Scared the bejesus.
Because what was I doing? Setting up equipment upstairs, and you were downstairs.
Because I'm a wanderer. And
Team effort. Effort.
I get drawn to things, and things, they like suck me over there. So they want to talk to me, and I used to be able to see things, but I can't now, but I can still feel, well, I'm starting to see things again. But anyway, I'm drawn to them, and they're drawn to me, and they mess with me, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yep, so there I am setting up 4-camera, my ultraviolet motion detecting security system that I had set up, and then the new SLS system we just put together. We had that set up, and yeah, then I heard shrieks in the basement, and timing.
Yep, I can squeal.
So-
I didn't realize that I could scream like a girl. I realized that I'm a girl, guys. But I've always been a tomboy, but I've really been turning into a girl these days.
Yep, so we had fun there with Nicole, James, and then our friend Jay showed up, one of the primary owners of the building from Oshkosh. That was kind of cool. So I had some fun with those guys before we drove back. And that was kind of about it for last year. I know the rest of the stuff rolled into this year, so we can kind of pick that up in a different episode. So
Sounds good.
lots of fun, lots of new stuff, lots of new toys, and we have our new Spirit Box portal I have to put together. So we do build our own equipment and modify all our own stuff. So I got some of the pieces that came in. I have two 9-volt battery adapters. I have to get the proper end to power a couple of the pedals. I know we're going with a filter sweep system and then a plate reverb delay. So hopefully that works out pretty good. I'll be using out the SB7 and a couple other boxes just to check the different frequencies and see what we get.
Then we can say, this is good, this is no good.
This is no good. If you got 10 of them, hopefully one of them does something correctly. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Our next podcast will be coming up about a week from now, where we talk about our upcoming adventure that we're going to have down in Richland Center.
By Richland Center.
Richland Center, kind of an interesting story there. So karma, play nice and nice things will happen to you. So once again, remember,
It's always an adventure.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See, right now I could be using my remote control camera.
I see you looking out your window. I see you looking out your window. What do you see? I wonder what you're thinking. I wonder what you're thinking. What can it be?
Okay, what were you saying? Because I was still recording.